We ready?
Okay, we will call our meeting to order. Want to welcome everybody here this evening. We will now have our roll call by our city clerk, Melissa.
Commissioner Bauer.
Here.
Commissioner York.
Here.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Here.
Mayor Van Oster.
Here.
And Commissioner Maxson is absent this evening.
All right, tonight's invocation we have by Pastor Randy DePriest from the First Assembly of God Church. We want to thank you for showing up tonight and giving our invocation.
Absolutely. Thank you. It is my pleasure to be here. And I'm always thankful for the people that will diligently do their work. Each of us are assigned to work. And even in Proverbs 16:3, it says, commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. And so as we do this tonight, let's commit this time and our work into the Lord, His presence, who is, He's omnipresent. He's everywhere. So, Father, we thank you for your promises, and we do commit this time to you. And this city is under your authority, Father. So we just ask you would rule and reign, that you would have your way, and you would be pleased with everything that's said and spoken in this meeting. It would be for the benefit of this community, for this city, and for the things that you've established and that you desire to make better. Let us work in unison and in partnership for a better tomorrow. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we will now have a review of the agenda. Does anybody have anything to see that needs to be changed, or just remain there?
I'm good.
We will
Yep.
move on to our consent agenda. We have first item on the consent agenda is the City Commission meeting minutes for Tuesday, May 11th, 2021, and our 2021 appropriation ordinance number AO-21-10 in the amount of $4,120,599.81. Do we have anything, anybody like to bring out about anything on the?
So I'll run through some of the highlights for this appropriation ordinance. So the GRD power purchase was $2,581,000. Southwest Power Pool was $597,297. And then some Southwest Power Administration, which is energy purchase, is a $14,864. KMGA, which is gas supply, so supplier of our gas, $156,828. We had a premium. We had to pay our premium for the power plant for our insurance. It was $119,256. We had a couple payments to Graham, total of $49,062. One of them was for $31,724 for 10th Street sidewalks, and then $17,338 for Highland Road. Republic Services, which is our trash company, $37,928. Core and Main, which is a tubing and fitting supplier, $31,764. Lochner, which was our number 4 payment for our lighting, $16,410. Brentag, which is a polymer supplier, $13,887. Asplund, which is our tree trimming service, $11,120. SMC, the electrical supply company here in town, $9,734. R&R Lawn Care to mow our weed lots, $6,034. And our fleet fuel was for our fuel for our vehicles, $5,264. And then payroll was $377,565 for this 2 weeks.
Anybody have anything else?
Pretty well covered it.
Okay. If not, I will move to approve items 1 and 2 of the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Bauer to approve items 1 and 2 of the consent agenda as presented. Commissioner York.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Bauer.
Aye.
The next item on our consent agenda is 2021 appropriation ordinance number AO-21-10A for Isham Hardware in the amount of $81.29.
If there's no questions or comments, I'll move to approve item 3 on the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Bauer, seconded by Commissioner York to approve item 3 of the consent agenda as presented. Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Mayor Van Oster.
Abstain.
Commissioner Bauer.
Aye.
Commissioner York.
Aye.
Okay, next item, comments by the public. Any citizen desiring to address the commission shall be recognized, advance to the podium, state his or her name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes unless extended by a vote of the majority of the commission. The commission does not hear matters involving litigation or city personnel. The commission does not take action on subjects not on the agenda unless unusual or hardship conditions exist. Citizens may address the commission on agenda items as they are brought to the floor. Do we have anybody here this evening? Okay, if not, we'll move on. Our next item is the public hearing, special presentation, or proclamations. Tonight, we have a proclamation to declare Friday, May 28th as Poppy Day in Coffeeville. Is Mr. Gingery going to be here tonight? I guess not. Didn't you come? Okay, I'll read this real quick. The American Legion Family National Poppy Day Proclamation, whereas the sacrifices of those who have lost their lives, their health, or their livelihood as a result of their military service are rightly the concern of all citizens. And whereas the American Legion Auxiliary adopted the poppy as its memorial flower, which pays tribute to the war dead and aids the living veterans and their families. And whereas the poppy as a memorial flower for the American war dead is a tradition which began in the years following the First World War. And whereas American Legion auxiliary poppies are assembled by disabled veterans and the proceeds of this worthwhile fundraising campaign are used exclusively for the benefit of disabled and needy veterans and the widows and orphans of deceased veterans in the desire to honor the dead by helping the living. Now, therefore, I, Anne Marie Van Oster, Mayor of the City of Coffeeville, Kansas, do hereby proclaim Friday, May 28, 2021, as Poppy Day, and do hereby urge the citizens of this community to recognize the merits of this cause by contributing generously to its support through the purchase of poppies on the day set aside for the distribution of these symbols of appreciation for the sacrifices of our honored dead. I urge all patriotic citizens to wear a poppy as mute evidence of our gratitude to the men and women of this country who have risked or lost their lives in fulfilling their obligations as American citizens. Okay. All right, the next item on our agenda is old business, and we have no old business, so we will move on to new business. First item is the discussion and action to make an appointment to the planning commission, excuse me. Melissa Carter, City Clerk, will present this.
We had one application, Pam Jones, and she is in attendance. If you have any questions for her.
Mrs. Jones, would you like to get up and say something?
Well, I think most of you probably know me. I served on the Planning Commission from back in 2002 for 4.5, 5 years until I was elected to the City Commission. I served 2 terms on the City Commission, 1 year as mayor, and then, of course, I've been out of commission for about 8 years. But I'm familiar with planning and zoning and how it works, and I would like to try again to make improvements and help our town and do what I can to be positive.
So Pam, there's 2 different options available. So one term expires January 1st of 2022, and one expires January 1st of 2024. Which one would you prefer to take?
Let's go for the 2024.
Okay.
That's okay.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Okay, thank you for
Yes, thank you.
applying and willing to serve again to help Coffeeville. We appreciate it. very much.
If you have any questions?
Nope.
Not-
Nope,
Okay,
we're good.
thank you.
Mayor, if there are no questions, I'll move to appoint Pam Jones to the Planning Commission for a term expiring January of 2024.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Commissioner York, seconded by Vice Mayor Doan, to appoint Pam Jones to the Planning Commission for a term expiring January 1st, 2024. Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Bauer.
Aye.
Commissioner York.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you again very much. Next item on the agenda is Resolution R-21-26, which is a resolution to adopt the Region H Kansas Multi-Hazard, Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan. Our Director of Finance, Stephanie Richardson, will make comments. Rick Whitson from our Montgomery County Office of Emergency Management is also here. Stephanie?
Mayor and Commissioners, this resolution is to adopt or renew the State of Kansas Multi-Hazard, Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan to assist both counties and local communities in the state by identifying any applicable hazards and vulnerabilities, along with providing mitigation strategies. The plan and program also helps aid in directing the community resources and regional resources towards policies and actions to provide long-term benefits to the community. As you stated, Rick Whitson is here from the County Emergency Management Office, and he said he would be glad to help us with any questions we would have.
Rick, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Oh, just, she did very well at explaining that, by the way. But there is no downside to not adopting it. The city of Coffeeville has wisely done it as far back as I can see. But if you don't, you're not eligible for any FEMA funds at any level. So if a tornado, disaster, or anything, even some of the grants, sunflower safe rooms and things like that you apply for, you can't get any FEMA funds. So it would be very wise to adopt it. But I do want to take a second to explain, if you don't mind, what happened.
Sure.
Because this was 2 years ago. So we went through the process, we had the meetings, a lot of your people came from, I think Tom was there. Anyway, what happened was that happened right into the 1st of May is when we were getting done with it. Well, then the floods came. So that detracted us. We didn't follow through. I got a new assistant. One thing after another, then COVID last year. So we just realized that we had never finalized the hazard mitigation plan. Now, it wouldn't have been disastrous because I did turn in that you all attended the meeting and had intended to adopt the plan. But that's what happened. We should have actually done it 2 years ago. But during a conference call about the sunflower safe rooms, she sent an email on all the counties that had officially adopted it, and Montgomery County was blank. That's when we realized we had never followed through. So I do want to apologize for that, but we're trying to get caught up on it.
Sure.
So with that being a 5-year plan, would we then need to renew it again in 2024?
It'd
or
be
would
3
this-
more years, yeah.
Yeah.
2 years.
And I remember reading through, so when I served on the Board of Trustees for the college, I read through this document. It's a rather lengthy document. Are there any major changes from when it came out before to now?
The difference is in the past, we had to adopt it per county. So, our office had to adopt our own specific to our county. But they've changed that now, and it's a conglomeration, and the state actually helps you prepare it. So it's probably better prepared now than it was before. So, yeah, that's the main difference. And hopefully they'll continue to do that because I think it's a very wise plan. All the counties are similar that way.
All right. Thank you. Rick, does anybody else have any questions?
No questions.
Thank
Okay.
you, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Mr. Wood.
If not, I'll move to approve Resolution R-21-26 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Bauer to approve Resolution R-21-26 as presented. Commissioner Bauer.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner York.
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Wood.
Our next item on the agenda is Resolution R-21-27, which is a resolution to approve a lease amendment to accommodate additional park amenities at Sherwin-Williams Park. City Attorney Paul Kreitz will make comments, and our Director of the Coffeeville Recreation Commission, David Rains, is also in attendance. Paul?
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. It's hard to believe it's been since 2004 that Sherwin-Williams Park
Yes.
lease was executed by the city. It doesn't seem like that long ago. And 30 years seemed like a long time at the time, but we're getting there. Anyway, it's such a nice community asset, and as we said in the staff report, the lease was amended to add the skate park in 2011. Now CRC has approached the city with, I think in conjunction with Sherwin-Williams, about expanding the park yet again to include additional amenities that Mr. Rains will discuss. So I'm going to turn it over to him and let him talk about the features that they're planning to put there. It sounds like
Okay.
a nice
David?
thing.
Hi, good evening. How are you guys?
Good.
Very
Good.
Very good.
Well, this has been a long, drawn-out process. Obviously, with what we're trying to do with the land with expansion, we've run into some snags at the state level that have slowed things down a little bit. But, you know, we always got, even back when we started the park in 2003 and to what it is now, we do the bulk of our programming in the spring and the fall out there. You guys you've driven by, you've seen it, 400 kids running everywhere out there. We needed something more. The skate park is there, yes. Kids are using the skate park as a playground now. Maybe not the safest thing in the world. So my board came to me and said, let's find out what else we can do. There's a need for a playground. See what else is out there. I guess the good thing through this 6 or 7 years that we've been through the planning stages of this is the changes that have been made in playground safety, the changes that have been made just in recreation programming itself. So we're basically looking at 3 types of amenities we're going to add at Sherwin-Williams Park. The first part of it, which we've secured a grant through Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas and the Kansas Recreation and Park, will be an outdoor fitness area where you can do circuit training as well. The second part would be urban soccer. We'll have 2 urban soccer fields out there. These are turf-based fields. It's a scaled-down version. It's 60 by 90. We'll have 2 of those fields side by side. And not only can we do leagues out there, we can do tournaments out there. We can run our younger leagues out there on those fields, especially in conditions like we have now with it being wet. And then the final part of it will be a fully functional destination playground that will have climbing apparatuses. It will have the big cable rides that go back and forth. It will also have some amenities designed for those with developmental disabilities on there, like surface-mounted playgrounds, where if they're wheelchair-bound, they can just roll up, and it's surface-mounted, and they can roll on those. So those are the 3 amenities we're targeting. We had meetings several years ago, meeting with not only community members, but Holy Name kids, RMS kids, just to see, hey, what are you guys interested in out there? So the feedback we got from those and some from our community members have led us in this direction where we're at as of right now. So it's a long time coming. We definitely need it out there. It obviously right across the street from the elementary school will get used a lot when we're out there, not only in our programs, but after school as well. So if you have any questions, I know you guys have looked at the pictures. That playground, I think in one drawing with the soccer fields, it's different than the other drawings I have out there. The one with the soccer fields was just put out there as a reference point about where it would go within the park. Okay? And Sherwin-Williams has been awesome. Every time we've had a need, whether it was a skate park or the need back in 2002 and 2003 when we started talking about needing soccer fields, they have stepped up to the plate. So we can't thank them enough for what they're doing for our community and our kids.
So from these drawings, it appears that it'll be to the north of the
They will be to the north of the
skate
skate park,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
And I believe that the lease, correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, will also include to the east of the large soccer field and to the north of the large soccer field if resources in the future become available to do
Very
that.
good.
So
Very good. The fitness center looks wonderful. I mean, that's going to be quite an asset. So I think that's a great deal. So,
good deal.
yeah.
Definitely.
Yep.
Yes, it is. Very, very good. Very good, and a lot of good things moving forward in that
Yep.
area for recreation for Coffeeville. Wonderful.
Do we have maybe a timeline? I mean, is
You know-
there?
you know,
I know it's rough. I'm just asking. Right?
Actually, I can answer that a little bit because I met with Sherwin-Williams reps. They were in town, remediation reps last week, and They have to submit a final work plan to KDHE. KDHE gives you a window of 60 days to review this. So if we can goose them a little bit, it would be great. And then once that starts, it's the moving of fences, moving of some electric, and then the dirt work begins.
Good.
So,
What's your total construction time, do you know?
you know, we're looking, they told us that they could do the dirt work within 2 weeks. Hopefully that's the case. Now it's lining up, you know, because we have 3 different manufacturers here. We've already got the fitness equipment sitting in our storage shed out at Leclerc Park. So it's as simple as, you know, pouring concrete, getting the playground people
So there's-
scheduled, getting
There's a
everything.
possibility of having it up and going before school begins next.
You know, I
year.
would love that, but I would push it a little bit, maybe further in the fall.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Very good.
Hopefully before activities begin out there come this fall.
Great.
So,
That's
Yeah.
great. This is fantastic. Thank you
gonna
very,
be
very
neat.
much for
Yep.
all your work on this.
Looking forward to
and
it.
Thank your board as
Working
well.
this,
yeah.
helping
Yes,
us.
absolutely.
Very much.
And thank you guys for considering this lease amendment. So.
If there's no other questions, I'll move to approve Resolution R-21-27 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Vice Mayor Doan to approve Resolution R-21-27 as presented. Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Bauer.
Aye.
Commissioner York.
Aye.
Thank
David.
you.
Thank you, guys.
very much,
Have a
David.
good night.
You
Good
too.
night. Okay, the next item on our agenda is Resolution R-21-28 and Resolution R-21-29, which are both resolutions to approve the purchase of fuel farm and hangars from Coffeeville Aircraft, along with the additional tools and equipment to keep the airport in operation. Our Director of Engineering Services, Thomas Osborne, will make comments for this. Thomas?
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This is, as several weeks ago, almost, I think close to a month ago, we met in executive session to discuss this exact property. Since then, we entered negotiations with Coffeeville Aircraft. Initially, it was just, we tried to do the whole thing, but then we just went to the fuel farm. There were some complications, and so we were able to come to an agreement at the $60,000 for the fuel farm and the south, what they call the south hangar, the dirt hangar. This is the hangar that's immediately south from the airport maintenance building. And it does have, it also has attached to that same parcel of ground is the 2 tanks, one for avgas and one for jet fuel, the bulk storage tanks for those. Part of this contract would also include the trucks for fueling both jets and the small aircraft that come in. That's all part of the contract for the property with the fuel farm and hangar. As well as that, we also are needing certain things for just to maintain operations as the FBO. With the FBO leaving, you know, we're kind of, the city's going to have to take over and maintain those amenities. So whether we help and pull airplanes in and out of hangars and things like that. So we're needing a tug for that. We included we'll also need several tow bars. We'll be able to use, we do have a John Deere Gator that's part of the equipment out there. For a lot of planes, we'll be able to use that, but we do need the tug for some of the larger jets and stuff like that. They require something a little more heavier. It's got some weight to it to be able to move those larger planes. And then the other piece of equipment that is included in that we're looking at is that's an APU or alternate power source for, so if, you know, you got a jet that's been sitting out in the sun or whatever, you can hook it up to the alternate power source and run it off of that, your AC units and stuff like that to cool the jet instead of trying to run new jet fuel. That's a service that's always been provided. The cost is reasonable, and it's something that we can actually bill out for as a money-making item for the airport. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions I can. Like I said, we've negotiated. We feel this is a fair price for with some of the risks we're taking with the hangar, because currently the doors do not close on the main part. That's partially why they're having issues selling it, I believe. But it does have 2 spots on the north side that are basically it's a lean-to attached to that structure that has this, they currently have 2 airplanes in as well. So it adds those 2 instantly, and then if we can get pricing and moving forward on trying to fix those other, the big hangars that allows for another large hangar for community hangar space or
Another
potentially larger.
income generating possibility as well.
Yes.
So, yeah, yeah.
All right.
I know you and Jared have done a lot of work on this, so thank you.
Good.
Okay, sounds good.
Any other
To
questions?
keep our airport going.
Yeah, definitely. We need an airport.
That's right, that's right.
If there's no other
One thing I
questions.
did
Oh, go
forget
ahead,
to-
Thomas.
One thing I forgot to mention, I have also agreed to purchase the fuel
Yeah.
remaining in the
Yep.
fuel
I saw
trucks.
that.
Right.
We don't have that cost fixed. It's because
Right.
he's right now, he'll be selling fuel until the 31st out of those trucks. So
Okay,
we'll get that amount that's remaining left, and we have the prices per gallon there listed in the staff report, so.
okay.
And we have some future plans to upgrade some of this as well, is that correct?
We have some plans that we'd like to, we went to look at a self-serve tank to potentially provide self-serve fuel for like on weekends to where they could, that would only be for av gas only. Typically jets, well we don't have a lot of jet traffic on the weekend anyway, but typically jets, they don't want to do their own fueling. Just some of them have regulations against it as far as their charter pilots and stuff like that, so. But yeah, we are looking at a potential self-serve site. We did find a tank that's reasonably priced. We're looking into just the transportation cost right now at this point, so.
All right,
Yeah, good.
okay.
So I'll move to approve Resolution R-21-28 as presented. We can do them both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can, and move to approve Resolution R-21-29.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Bauer, seconded by Mayor Van Oster to approve Resolution R-21-28 and R-21-29 as presented. Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Bauer.
Aye.
Commissioner York.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Thomas.
Thomas, very much for everything on that, too. Okay, next item on our agenda is ordinance number G-21-03, which is an ordinance adopting an electric rate schedule for electric vehicle charging stations. Our Director of Electric Utility, Mr. Mike Shook, will make comments.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners.
Good evening.
The City of Coffeeville, working with Utility Financial Solutions, we have previously updated our electric cost of service, changing our rate designs to keep current with the ever-changing electric industry, including an effort to maintain a rate structure that's at cost of service, while providing the most economical and reliable electric utility possible to our customers and residents. In an effort to remain current with the industry and the advancement of technology and electric vehicle popularity, the City of Coffeeville foresees the time where retail installations for electric vehicle or EV charging stations will be requested of the city and the utility. Previously, GRDA and the city have made minor changes to our rules and policies and ordinances to allow for retail EV charging. The next step in that process would be to create an electric rate for retail EV charging stations. Again, working with Utility Financial Solutions, a rate has been developed for EV charging, taking into account the contribution to the system peak, time of EV charging peak, EV charging load factor, and the distribution cost to support EV charging stations on our system. Included in your packet, I have an attached rate designed by Utility Financial Solutions. And this rate accounts for the three cost components that I've mentioned, plus margin, while providing an economical rate to allow for private retail installations for EV charging. Therefore, staff is recommending the EV charging rate as designed and submitted, allowing for the EV charging station installations within our service territory, which will become effective January 8th upon approval of a second reading. And I'd be happy to try to answer any questions that you may have.
So we looked at what other communities are doing in regards to this, or?
Not so much as what other communities are doing, as far as the minor changes. So initially, GRDA, the rules were set up where a person taking power from, we take power from GRDA, we sell our power to our customers, but they couldn't resell and charge per kilowatt hour or per kW. So GRDA altered their rate structures where it wouldn't penalize their customers, the cities, to do the same. So we've made those changes in our ordinances as well. We've not had any official request to install EV charging. but we have heard that there may be one potential here in town with maybe a.
I was just wondering, as a city, is it something we want to look at getting involved with? But
In Kansas, no cities, to my knowledge, I think Goodland partnered with Goodland or Colby partnered with a private firm. But generally,
we got a really big public parking lot sitting over where 10th Street used to be. That was maybe a great charging station. Yeah.
it's something we can look at, but there's some significant cost involved with purchasing the equipment to do that. So.
Okay, anybody else have any questions?
Nope. No. Thank you.
Okay, if not, I will move to approve ordinance G-21-03 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner York to approve ordinance G-21-03 as presented. Commissioner York.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Bauer.
Aye. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank
Aye, very much. Okay, the next item on our agenda is ordinance G-21-04, which is an ordinance to amend Chapter 42 of the City of Coffeeville Code of Ordinances by adding a new article for the purpose of establishing wireless and wireline infrastructure and pole attachment standards. Our city attorney, Mr. Paul Kreitz, will make comments.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. Several months ago, you may recall, the city engaged Penny Speak with Healy Law Offices to assist with the negotiations of a small cell agreement with United States, or U.S. Cellular, I believe it was. Healy Law specializes in utility regulatory matters, and Ms. Speak thought we should have a right-of-way ordinance, need a right-of-way ordinance for the reasons that she mentioned in her memorandum, which I asked her to prepare to explain the ordinance, which she calls a streamlined ordinance, which consists of 14 pages.
Yeah.
I know not everybody here can see what's in the agenda, so I'm just going to read some provisions of the memorandum that she prepared, just to let the public know what we're doing. This ordinance will establish rights-of-way rights, and is to enable and authorize the city to enter into agreements and contracts with various types of service providers, including telecommunication, cable, broadband, small cell, wireless providers, as well as the infrastructure providers for these various service entities, and to provide the city's ability to regulate its rights-of-way and regulate the entities permitted to operate within the city's rights-of-way. There are specific state statutes which require the city to enact ordinances with regard to the service providers that I just mentioned. There are certain statutes that require the city to act pursuant to its ordinances and regulations, and without those ordinances and regulations, the city is not empowered or enabled to perform the necessary regulatory functions. The proposed rights-of-way ordinance is worded to enable the city to enter into agreements and contracts which will involve the permitted use and regulation of its rights-of-way, also to empower the city to assess fair and reasonable rates for the utilization of the city's infrastructure and rights-of-way, as well as ultimately enforce those agreements and contracts in the event that should become necessary. The goal was to provide a rather generic authorization which will afford the city the flexibility to negotiate separate individual and distinct agreements, such as the one we did with USCC. These agreements will no doubt vary in countless ways, but the goal of the ordinance is ultimately to allow the city sufficient and necessary flexibility to accommodate the individualized circumstances of each service entity fairly and in a non-discriminatory fashion, which is required by law. Hopefully you don't have any questions, but if you do, I'll be happy to.
Well, let's just start.
It was a very well-prepared document.
Yes, it was.
It went through a few versions, but I think we finally got there.
Okay,
This is the first of two readings.
all right.
Since it is a a regulatory ordinance, you're going to have to read the entire thing now. I'm just kidding.
Get started on Anne Marie.
Yeah.
We might be here a little while. You thought you prepared for the
For
other one. For the proclamation.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
So without us asking a slew of questions, you have a good feeling about this?
Yeah, it's fine. It's necessary. And
It should prevent further issues like we've experienced out of this other.
yeah,
so,
it just gives us the authority we need, and it also just establishes a fair and non-discriminatory method for dealing with rights-of-way issues.
right.
Yep.
Very good.
Good.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
There are no other questions. The mayor will move to approve ordinance G21-04 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner York, seconded by Commissioner Bauer to approve ordinance G-21-04 as presented. Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Bauer.
Aye.
Commissioner York.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, Paul, very much
Thank you.
for all
Yes,
your work
thank
on
you.
that. Going through all that. Okay, the next item on the agenda is our city manager report, and our city manager is not here tonight. He's gone, in fact, this week. So our director of finance, Stephanie Richardson, will make comments on his behalf. And I also want to thank Mike Shook for being on the radio this morning and stepping in for Mark as he was gone.
Yes.
And we appreciate.
Dang, I missed it.
Yeah.
I need a recording of
Probably
that.
go
Yeah,
online.
We're going to need a recording of that so
Yeah.
we can hear it in the commission room.
So anyway, but I want to thank both of you for stepping in and taking care of things.
Absolutely. We have an expert in the audience this evening that I would like to ask that he come up and give us an update on the COVID issues. So Rick, would you please come up and just give a little update on COVID, and then we'll continue with the rest of the manager's report.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, well, I actually thought that I may take the time while I was here, so I asked Mike if, while I was here, if you cared. But I happened to Judge Gettler sent me an email this morning, wanted me to do some research for the 14th Judicial District.
Right.
Because, as you know, the judicial branch has given the power to the individuals, so the individual district has the rights to make their own rules, just like you do. So he was wanting to know, some information that he can base his decisions on. So I did have to do a lot of research about it. I called the state EOC, and I spoke to KDM and KDHE and even Dr. Norman. So anyway, the reality is it's entirely up to you, the mass, and I need to apologize. I didn't really realize anyone was still enforcing that as far as the city jurisdictions go. So I felt out of place when I came in. I didn't mean any disrespect, but
It's right there in front of you.
well, I'm 6 feet away now.
Yeah, your distance.
So anyway, what I hadn't actually really looked into this for a couple of weeks, but there hasn't been an active case in Montgomery County now in probably about a week. It's been a while. I mean, we had a few. I think we looked back on the 21st. There may have been one, but it's been a while. The whole state of Kansas only added one in the last day or two. And I actually screenshotted this from the KDHE's report that they sent me and sent it to Judge Gettler, so it wasn't just taking my word for it. And, as a county, we're at about a 27% vaccination rate. So, and it's completely stalled. I mean, nobody is getting that vaccine now, anywhere. Walgreens is called, wanting me to take theirs. Walmart, I mean, we got it piled all over the place right now. And so there's nobody getting vaccinated now. Even when they, lowered the age to 12, I don't know that we gave any. So if that helps any, I don't know that it does, but it's just information for you to file away. But we haven't had a case in 3 or 4 days. The testing has dropped. Everything is just bottomed way out. Now, the state's disaster declaration was supposed to expire on May 30th because that's what the legislature had dictated to the governor. But since then, and this is an informal, what the EOC told me today, was that informally they have agreed to give her a 30-day extension at the end of May with the potential of possibly 2 more. So the state's disaster declaration could go on another 90 days. Now, the county's disaster declaration, I renewed it 2 or 3 times, and then the last time we just did until rescinded. So my plan was to rescind it at the end of this month, but I think it's wise and prudent to follow the state's guidelines. So if they continue another 30, so will we. Now, again, it's entirely up to you. Of course, you know you don't have to wear a mask if you've been vaccinated. You know that. And but every jurisdiction has the right to do whatever they choose to. So that's kind of where we're at. I mean, the City of Independence, I went to their commission meeting and they weren't wearing them, and Caney and Cherryville weren't either. So I just assumed that the signs were just there. So anyway, I just thought I would let you know there really are no cases. There's nobody being tested. No, that's not true. There's not many being tested. And I also want to say that one that they added is not common. There's typically more than that. So I don't want you to think that there's just one every 3 or 4 days in the whole state, because that's not the case. But that is just a low that I don't expect to stay there very long. There'll be more. But there is about 37 per 100,000, positive cases, which is not very many.
Yep.
So it really is starting to go away.
Good.
But anyway.
It needs
Good
to.
news.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Anything you want to ask before I?
So personally, I'm sick of wearing them, and
Me too.
I don't wear it very often. But I also don't like the stance of, okay, we're not going to wear it, but if you have not chosen to get vaccinated, then you got to put it on. How are people dealing with that?
Well, there is nowhere in the state of Kansas that is requiring proof.
Yeah.
It's simply, and this is what I told the judge, it's simply your word. You come in, they can ask.
Yeah.
You say, sure. And I know lots of people that are saying, I identify as being vaccinated.
I think we may have heard that.
So,
Tonight.
So, it really is an all or nothing. You either mask everybody or don't, in my opinion, because there's no way to tell.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't
I
don't agree with singling people out because they've chosen not to get vaccinated. So
There was some legislation going around up there where they were trying to make it where it was illegal for an employer to ask.
yeah.
But I don't know that ever went anywhere, but.
Yeah.
I always had the thoughts on it. If it makes you feel good to wear it, wear it. If it doesn't, then that's your choice, right? And
If you follow my messages over the entire duration of this thing, it has been consistent. And that's you do what's right for you and respect him for doing what's right for him. So you can't impose rules on him. You wouldn't want him doing that with your religion, so, and there's a train of thought that supports both ways. So, that's been my message, and there's been some that haven't liked it. But the other policy I had was, if I insist on mask wearing, I will alienate the people who refuse to wear them, and then it's important in my position to be able to reach everyone. So I chose respect, and that was my platform the whole time, and it'll stay that way.
Right.
So anyway, I just wanted to let you know where we were at.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, good.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you very much.
Anything else?
No, we're good.
No, sir.
Thank you, Rick.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks
you,
for having
Rick.
me.
Okay.
You bet.
Thank you, Rick. I think we'll start with Memorial Day. Things going on. Just a reminder, the city offices will be closed on Monday, May 31st. Our trash schedule will adjust for the holiday. Those that are a regular day on Monday will be picked up on Tuesday. Tuesday will be picked up on Wednesday and so forth, and Fridays will be picked up on Saturday. We do not have a bulky trash day on the 31st, as that's the 5th Monday of the month. So no
Works
bulky
out good.
trash this Monday. Let's see, the cemetery, they're in preparation for the holiday. Crews are mowing as weather permits. The rain has not been our friend, trying to get all of that done. But we do ask that when you do visit the cemeteries, that you please stay on the pathways and on the roadways, just to avoid causing additional damage to those areas. Decorations, those that are put up, those need to be picked up by Sunday, June 6th. Items that are left after that date will be picked up by cemetery staff in order to continue maintaining the cemeteries the rest of the season. The Aquatic Center is scheduled to open on Saturday, May 29th at 1. There again, weather permitting. The hours will be 1 to 6 daily, and it's $3 per visitor for ages 3 and up. So we hope to get to open the pool and have everyone out there to enjoy that. Crews have installed the flagpole at 8th and Elm Streets for the Union Pacific Pocket Park, and that looks very nice in that area. Very excited about that project. Just a quick update on the Highland Road construction. Crews are installing the under curb drainage pipe on the west side of Highland. They've got a total of 40 working days has been utilized, and or 15.5% of the project is complete so far. There again, weather is not
That's right.
being helpful there either.
Yeah.
The 10th Street sidewalk project, it is approximately 90% complete, and they have used 50% or 57% of their time on their project. So
Way ahead.
we're in good shape there.
That's great.
Good.
And last but not least, just a reminder that the deadline for commissioner applications is June 1st at noon. You must submit those applications and $70 fee to the county clerk's office in Independence. And applications are available at the county clerk's office, or you can get those on our website.
Very good.
All
All right.
Thank you,
Good.
Stephanie,
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
Covered a lot of things for us there. Appreciate it. Okay, the next item are comments from commissioners and staff. Does anybody have anything?
You got anything, Bob?
Yeah, I've got a few items. So Stephanie mentioned the flagpole going up, so I want people to know that flagpole was donated, so it was a private funding that bought the flagpole. We do appreciate the city staff doing the work to get it installed.
Yep.
But the city did not purchase that flagpole. It was a private funds that brought that. So, and it does look wonderful. It's a great addition to that corner. Want to thank First Baptist Church for the little park they put in over on their parking area. It's a wonderful addition.
Looks really nice,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
And
I saw
it's
the
getting a
basketball
lot of
goal.
use.
There's
Yeah,
that-
yeah,
There's a
yeah.
nice basketball goal up there also. Yeah.
Absolutely. So the church itself decided to do that as a community outreach, and just really appreciate their efforts in that regard. So
Does look really nice.
there is a movie premiere coming up June 4th, 5th, and 6th. So a movie company made a movie called Death Alley. It is based on a true story. So it's the story of the Dalton raid in, from what I understand, very loose interpretation of it. But the Midland Theater Group is setting up a premiere of it. It'll be at the high school theater. And that's June 4th, 5th, and 6th. You can go online and get your tickets, or go to Candy's office over at the chamber and get them over at the chamber. So we'd love to see a big turnout for that as well. So.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything?
I do. So every year, so I'm doing what's good for me. So every year following Memorial Day, I'm glad you brought up the Sunday, June 6th, because it's always an issue. It's a sensitive issue. So I just want to repeat, if you go out and put something down, have it picked up by Sunday, June 6th. It seems every year I get phone calls of people just absolutely irate because they go out there and their stuff is moved or gone. And it's just one of those things that's needed to maintain. So please, if you're watching this, maybe we can have some advertisements in other ways as well, because it is such an issue. But yeah. The other thing, Thomas, I'm going to pick on you a little bit, dude. And I talked to Stephanie before the meeting started, and she mentioned what you had talked about in your meeting today about the letters not going out with the rain. I'm getting bombarded with people talking about, mowing letters. I know it's not an easy process. I'm absolutely not picking on anybody. There was a couple situations, so I guess, can you come up and talk to me?
So as of yesterday, we ceased sending out any new letters. We're putting a hold on it. Looking at the weather, you never know with the weatherman. So we were hoping maybe it'll go away, clean up, dry up. So we're still sending out letters, but we aren't sending out crews to mow unless it's a repeat property we mow every year, all year long.
Okay.
So that's currently the only things that are going out for work orders is those. But we won't be sending any work orders out for any newer properties until after this is dried up and we can make sure that they can mow their properties without getting in and rutting up their yards and stuff like that.
So I had two different situations brought to me today. One of them, the gentleman mowing for this lady had mowed the front yard but hadn't weed eated, was in the backyard mowing, and our crew came over and weed eated the front and had put something up. I didn't even really know how to respond to that.
Typically, if our crews are showing up, if they're paying somebody to mow, they'd have heard somebody weed eating mowing and they'd talk to them.
Well, I would have thought so.
So that's how they normally do it. Plus, we would have weed eated and mowed the backyard as well. So we'd have known someone was there. We don't. Our mowers are constantly. If you can get it done, we'll come back. Later this evening or tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the typical how we respond. So I mean, we can look into it, but that's like I said, that's typically.
I mean, this story sounds a little bizarre to me, but if that is the case, then we've got some issues.
Every work order that we send out, so we send out a list, sometimes 30 or 40 mows per 30 or 40 properties per contractor. Okay. And we'll come back 2 to 3 already mowed, or they've made arrangements with whoever so that they'll constantly give them as much time as they can, because they've got other stuff to do as well. It's not that they don't make a lot mowing city lots.
Yeah.
So if they can get in the same way with us, if you'll mow it and take care of it, we just as soon you do it, then us have to do it for you.
Absolutely. Right. My other question, just real quick, is in the process, if they go out and inspect and see that something needs to be mowed and we put a little hanger on, is pictures being taken at that time?
So we will go out and we'll inspect, and we come back and we'll send a letter if there hasn't been a letter sent already.
Okay.
Our contractors, per their contract, take a photo before they mow and a photo after they mow. So that way we can show, no, our contractors came in and they mowed. There wasn't mowed beforehand.
What's the timeline once they receive a letter? How many days?
Our letters are 10 days to mow from the date that it's sent, so usually 7 days to a full week. And a lot of times we give extra time just because trying to get her back around to make sure that it's been mowed or not.
So how, with those photos prior and after, following, how do those photos get back to us?
They deliver them to us upon request. So we need a photo from this date on this property. They send them to us.
Okay. What I'm getting at is I'm getting quite a few complaints that it's, that the address is wrong, or maybe the.
We have had a couple of instances where we mowed the wrong address. Those do not get charged at all.
Okay.
So if they were mowed the wrong address, we did have a couple, and a lot of it's where there's, you got 6 vacant lots in a row that are owned by different people, and they mow the wrong one.
Okay.
And so, they don't charge it. We don't pay them for that, and they don't. So it doesn't get passed on to that property owner or anything. It's only if you've received a letter, but you only do receive a letter once a year, and that's stated in the letter that's sent out.
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Thomas.
Okay. All right, anything else?
Nope.
All right, if not, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Bauer to adjourn. Can I see a show of hands?